I'm founder and CEO of Wanderful. I've got Jonathan here from Intrepid. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi everyone. So nice to see you guys.
I am so thrilled to be having this conversation today. And for everyone who's watching in, if you've seen me do these presentations before, I will say I love to see you all on video. So if you are in a place where you want to turn your video on, would love to see you. If you aren't, that's fine. No worries. Do what you got to do what makes you feel comfortable. But we have a really great mix of people on this call because we originally were going to do a call just for people who are signed up for the Antarctica trips. They can meet each other. And then we found out that there's still a whole bunch of Rebecca's like, no one needs to see me slurping noodles. We're just going to be jealous of you, Rebecca. So you're fine. When you're done, come on video. But then we actually found out that a bunch of spots on the trip have opened. As we know, everyone's been in different situations with rescheduling travel. So some of the spots due to COVID, so some of the spots that were on our trip have opened up. So we do have availability. So we decided to actually open up this event so that we could have people who are both signed up as well as people who are maybe thinking about it and interested in learning more. So what we're going to do is have kind of a two-part session where we'll let Jonathan tell us a little bit more about the trip. We'll share some of our, high-level overview of what to expect, what's going on. And then I'll also take it over and we can talk a little bit about the logistics of us all as a group. Some of the special things that we're going to do as a wonderful community, some of the highlights that you'll be seeing if you are planning on traveling with us or if you're thinking about it. But I am so excited for this trip. It has been a long time coming. I know some of you have felt the same way because you have been booked for a long time waiting for this to happen. And it is so nice to finally be able to say that it is on its way. We are within 1 year now. We're like 6 months away now. So
Yeah.
it's, or maybe 7 months away. So it's nice to be able to have this happening in the universe, to really talk about this, not as something that's 2 or 3 years away, but something that's actually on the horizon. And we're going to get all prepared. And before I kick off with Jonathan, I would love for anyone who wants to hop on and unmute themselves and just say who they are, and if you are booked to come on with us, or if there's anything that you're looking forward to learning about. So no requirement, you don't have to do it. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable and like, oh no, now I have to talk. But if you do, there's like a little hand raise function that you can use under the reactions pane. If you want to raise your hand and just say, hi, my name is whoever, and I'm booked, and I'll see you all there. We can see kind of who signed up. Or you can put it in the chat. Anyone want to come say hi? Everyone's like, no way, not me. Romy, take it away.
I'll say hi. I didn't see the little raise the hand thing, but raising my hand.
Hi, Jen.
Hi. Yeah, I'm the one that emailed you maybe 2 weeks ago. A friend passed on this email for this thing. I didn't get it, so I just want to make sure that I am on the list.
I just sent you an email today. Did you get my email today?
I didn't check today.
Okay, because I was like, I wonder if my emails are hitting your spam box. And I'm so glad that
I did check, yeah.
So let's make sure. And if for some reason you didn't get the email I sent you today, send me another email. Okay. We will make this happen for you, Jen. I'm so glad you made it.
No worries. Yep, Jen out of the Boston area, and I signed up January or February 2021 for this trip. So, nice. And this is my 7th continent, and very excited.
That's awesome. I love all the cheering. This is the best support group ever. Like, yes, 7th continent. Yeah. Way to go. Thanks, Jen. Thanks for being the first to introduce yourself too. Romy, do you want to go next?
Yeah, my name is Romy, and actually I'm in Arlington, Mass. And we met actually in New Orleans for the first time in person. But I just returned from a 2-month trip to South Africa and Zambia, and I am looking very forward to going to Antarctica.
Awesome. We're so looking forward to having you, Romy. I just can't say enough how much fun we're going to have. I'm just like, we're going to have fun. This is going to become a broken record by the end of the night. So Lots of Bostonians here in the house. Aletta, would you like to go next? And did I say your name correctly?
It's Alita.
Alita.
Yeah, Alita. And I want to visit all 7 continents. So this is like right up my, I'm so excited for this trip. And I also got my friend Monica. I hope she's on here. I sent her the link. We both signed up. So we're booked and ready to go.
Oh, good.
And we are in the Bay Area of California.
Awesome. Oh, good. It's not too late for you over there then.
Yeah, no.
Well, great. Yeah, I don't think I see Monica here yet, but she might be one of the iPhone people. So good. Otherwise, we're recording everything, so we'll just pass it on and she'll get it. Diane, would you like to go next?
Yes, here. Hi, Diane, I'm from Boston. Yeah, I've been waiting forever also for this trip. I'm actually calling in from Croatia at the moment. So
What time is it over there, Diane?
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't want to miss meeting people from that might be on the trip and getting the lowdown since it really seems to be a reality now. So I'm very excited. This was supposed to be part of my retirement. So yeah, I'm all set to go.
I love it. I remember when we were chatting at the Travel and Adventure Show, Diane, and I was like, it really is happening. I promise we're going to do this. So thanks for making it. I think you win the award for latest night owl in this meeting. Great. Well, thanks to everybody who introduced themselves. And I see Pam here in the comments who can't wait for this trip, her 7th continent too. And I may have been the first person to sign up. Pam, I actually think you may have been as well.
I think she was, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan's like verified. Pam was, I have the data and the analytics to prove. That's awesome. Pam is very good at Pam, you're a very decisive person. So she's like, when she decides to do something, it happens. Great.
Pam holds the record for like most #1 signups for Wanderful events. Like you're always the first person, Pam.
Ariel speaks from experience because she's on the Wanderful team. Ariel, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I work for Beth. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm excited to get really cold with you all.
I know. Isn't that funny? I was telling my husband, I was like, we're going to have a meeting right now. And he's like, oh, that sucks. And I was like, no, it's going to be really fun. We're talking about Antarctica. And he said, well, that just sounds cold. So we're going to get, it's okay. Because here in Boston, it's a little bit warm today. So I don't mind getting a little bit iced for the evening as we talk about what we're awaiting. So great. Well, thanks to everybody who introduced yourselves. We'll have a little bit of more time to get to know each other. And I promise from here on out, you'll hear a lot about us. I see Kim just introduce herself in the comments from Middlebury, Connecticut, interested in finding out more about the trip. Welcome, Kim. If you have any questions along the way for any of you, you can always drop them in the chat. Or as I mentioned, after Jonathan does his slides, we'll have some open Q&A time as well. So we can chat with each other, and then we will have a recording of this that I'll send out to everybody who signed up for the event, as well as everyone who signed up for the trip. And for those of you who are signed up for the trip, we have all sorts of fun stuff awaiting us too, from our special group in the member portal to some special gifts you're going to be getting to some meetup ideas. So we'll be able to talk about that as well. But Jonathan, I want to make sure we get a chance to shine a spotlight on you and this amazing trip we're going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so nice to get a chance to meet a few of you, and hopefully I can get you guys even more excited about Antarctica today. So I'm just gonna briefly reintroduce myself. I'm Jonathan, or John, Johnny. The team has so many nicknames for me, no preference. And I am the Polar and Marine Sales Team Leader for North America at Intrepid. So I've been with Intrepid for about 4 years now and was fortunate enough to travel to Antarctica in 2019 on our 11-day voyage. So very similar to the itinerary here that we're going to talk about today. I know we have a mix of people joining us, some who've already booked and others might be interested in booking. So really excited, welcome, welcome. So excited once again to talk about the amazing Antarctica. So we'll get started.
And Jonathan, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because one thing that I want to highlight for everyone, and some of you know this because you've been part of the Wanderful community for a long time, some of you don't. I mean, when we were looking for, we always knew we wanted to do this Antarctica trip. And one thing that was very important to us was making sure that we found the right partner for this trip. And we've known Intrepid for a long time. I know a lot of the people on the Intrepid team. I've kind of come to know this organization and its values, and they really, really stand out to us at Wanderful. And I think that was one of the top reasons why we decided to work specifically with Intrepid on this Antarctica trip, because Antarctica is also a place that we want to make sure that we're visiting responsibly. And that is something that Intrepid focuses very heavily on, not just on this trip, but on all of their trips, on education, on advocacy for a better travel industry, for, helping travelers to really understand what our impact is in the places that we visit. And the whole Antarctica trip has a lot of that focus. There's, I know Jonathan will talk about it, so I won't give away, but there's like scientists that'll be on board explaining, what you're seeing and giving you kind of shedding light on that. And I just wanted to call that out because this isn't just, hey, let's go through the yellow pages and find an organization to work with. I mean, we really wanted to make sure that we were making the right choices for who we partnered with on this trip. And I couldn't be happier with Intrepid as a partner. So now, Jonathan, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm so glad to hear that. Of course, we're so happy and excited to be working with Wanderful as well. So just a brief overview of what I'm going to go over today. Just want to refresh some people's memories. Some newer people, I'll give you a brief overview of the Antarctic voyage itinerary for 2023. I'll touch on landings and how they work. I'll go over what is still required before departure as well. I'll talk about COVID-19 requirements, because I know that might be a big one for some of you. And of course, the big question, what to pack? What do I bring with me to Antarctica? And then of course, how do you book? If we have some stragglers on the line who are ready and excited to book for Antarctica. And then of course, at the end, we'll open it up to some questions. So this is what our itinerary looks like here. So again, it's the Best of Antarctica departure, 11 days. It's going to be departing 11th Jan. I'm so sorry, that should say 11th Jan 2023. We wish it was 2022.
What year is it anyway? Who knows anymore?
Beth and I were just talking about that. We don't know what year it is anymore with COVID, but it's 11th Jan 2023 to 21 Jan 2023. The ship itself actually holds 200 passengers, which is actually quite small, or smaller than the average boat size, or what the boat might hold for passenger-wise for Antarctica. So day one, you will get into Ushuaia, Argentina, and you will spend the night there, and that hotel night is included in the trip price. You'll get to explore Ushuaia a bit. It's a small, quaint town. You might do a little bit of sightseeing by the water, might venture off and do a little hike if you wanted to. And then on day two, the most exciting part is when you board the Ocean Endeavor. So we kind of give you the morning to kind of wake up, get a little excited, maybe have some breakfast, and then you're going to be embarking the ship at around 1 to 2 p.m. You'll get settled in, and then usually the boat takes off at around dinner time at around 6, 7 p.m. if there's no delays. And then day 3 and 4 is crossing the Drake. So the Drake Passage is usually Drake Shake, or Drake Lake is what you'll come to hear on the voyage itself. So Drake Shake, it can get a little bit rocky. Drake Lake is when it's really quiet, peaceful. On my voyage, I was fortunate enough that we got Drake Lake, so it wasn't too rough waters, not much seasickness, that kind of thing. But I mean, when you're on board and you're seasick, it's all of you guys together. I know we say 200 people, but it never really feels like that. And you guys are all going to become a close knit family. And even if you do get seasick, it's perfectly okay. You don't have to worry about it because everyone's going to be in the same boat, literally and not literally. Yes. And then you get to the fun stuff on days 5 to 8. So on days 5 to 8 is when you've successfully crossed the Drake. And you're in Antarctica, and that's when you start to do your landings. So I'll touch more about the landings in just a little bit, but that's typically where you're going to be doing your landings on days 5 to 8, up to 2 landings per day. And then kind of after day 8, day 9 and 10, you're back at sea, heading home, might be a little tired from the early wake ups from your landings. I spent those 2 days at sea going through all my photos. I had about 500 pictures of penguins that I was going through my photos, and I had to delete so many of them, penguins, whales, all that jazz. So those 2 days at the end, you're going to be relaxing, taking in the scenery, maybe joining in some lectures and presentations, that kind of thing. And then on day 11, the trip comes to an end. Typically, you'll arrive back in port in Ushuaia in the evening of day 10, usually around 8 p.m. if there's no delays, but we say up to day 11 just in case there is any delays. You might get in the really early morning, but on day 11 you'll have breakfast, and then you'll be disembarking at around I want to say 9 or so a.m., 8 to 9 a.m. And then you'll have kind of your transfer to the airport, which is also included. Fun, right?
Amazing. I love it.
So of course, everyone wants to know what's included in the trip. So the good thing is that the expedition parka, as well as your inner jacket, which I have pictures and I'll touch on more on the what to pack section as well, is included. So the inner jacket is kind of like the inner shell. You actually get to keep as a memento, as a souvenir and a reminder of your voyage to Antarctica. The expedition parka is on loan, and the boots are also included, and they're on loan as well. And you'll get all this stuff when you board the ship on day 2. As Beth mentioned, we have our knowledgeable expedition leaders. So you're gonna have naturalists on board, ornithologists, marine biologists, historians, photographer, a professional photographer, geologist. They're all gonna be on board, all eager to speak with all the passengers, like ready for any and all your questions. I know I bothered the photographers so much because I wanted to know how to take better pictures when I was in Antarctica. And they're just very knowledgeable, and you'll meet some of them as well at dinner, or when you're cruising the Zodiac, they might be driving the Zodiac with you, that kind of thing. They'll also do presentations, like lectures, presentations on your at-sea days that you can attend. That's not required, so it is optional, and you can kind of attend the lectures that kind of appeal to you. And then, like myself, some of the lectures, I didn't go to them all, don't tell anyone. Sometimes I just wanted to curl up in the library with a good book by the window as we were cruising. So you can do that as well, and no pressure. So like I mentioned before as well, so you do have your pre-voyage hotel on day 1 in Ushuaia included, as well as the arrival transfer if you're arriving on day 1 of the itinerary, and then also your departure transfer if you're leaving the trip on the last day as well. So that's included there. I mentioned the lectures and presentations already. And then something very cool that we also have on board that's kind of unique to our Intrepid Antarctic Voyages is our Citizen Science program. So it's a unique program that actually allows you to contribute to the future of Antarctica and to collect data that can contribute to real scientific studies for Antarctica. So there's programs such as phytoplankton sampling. We have what's called the NASA Globe Observer, which is like observing and recording like cloud cover times to help understand how surface and air temperatures are affected by cloud covers. And there's also something called Happy Whale, where you kind of take photos of whale flukes and you upload them. and it actually helps to identify whales and track their movements along the waters as well. So it's very, very cool and very unique to our voyages. And then, of course, you have your Zodiac cruising and shore landings, which I'll get into momentarily. Of course, all meals on board are included once you're on the boat. I'll just quickly talk about meals as well. So breakfast and lunch typically tend to be buffet style. So lots of options to choose from. If you're have a vegan, a vegetarian, or a diet requirement, we can accommodate that. Most of you would have let us know already once you've booked, but anyone who's looking to book, if you just let us know at time of booking, we're more than happy to accommodate that, since we're still well away from the departure. And of course, there's snacks, tea, and coffee available at any time of the day or night for you guys. There's also the gym, sauna, pool, jacuzzi, and yoga sessions, all free of charge, all for you guys to use, especially on your at sea days. And even if you want to hop in the jacuzzi after a full day of your landings, you can do that as well. And then kind of the last thing that Beth mentioned as well is that we're very keen on responsible travel. So for Intrepid in general, all our trips are carbon offset, but for Antarctica particularly, we actually double carbon offset our Antarctic voyages. There's no single-use plastics on board, and all of our food, especially our seafood, is sustainably sourced as well. So landings and how they work. So your landings are essentially your excursions once you cross a Drake Passage from days 5 to 8. So typically you'll have 2 per day, 1 in the morning after breakfast. Then you'll kind of come back for lunch. You'll have an hour or 2 of downtime, and then you're out for a landing again mid-afternoon, and then kind of back for dinner. So once you kind of cross the Drake Passage through days 5 to 8, they're going to be pretty jam-packed days that are quite full on. I think they usually have a wake-up call on the PA at around 7 a.m. and at around 8 a.m. between 7:30 8, you're usually heading down for breakfast. So as I mentioned, it's about 200 passengers on board. What happens is that on day 2 on board, they will split everyone up into groups of 50 passengers. Each group of 50 is kind of given a name. It depends who the expedition leader is. Sometimes they'll give each group like an animal name, like penguin, whale. Sometimes it'll be a color. So keep a listen for that. But you will be in 4 groups of 50. And then each time there is a landing, your group will then be called down through the PA system. And that's when your group is called, you'll head down to the mudroom, kind of gear up, and then head out on the Zodiacs for your landings. So they have it super organized. And like I said, it never felt like I was on with 200 other passengers. Usually everyone's off the boat within an hour or so out and exploring. So it doesn't actually usually take that long. So once you're all geared up from the mudroom, you got your parka on, your boots on, your hat on, everything like that, you're going to be split up into groups of 10 to head into your Zodiacs. And the biggest question we usually get about the landings is, Jonathan, we can only have 100 people on land in Antarctica at once. So what happens then if you have 200 people? Well, it's actually quite organized and quite simple. So we divide the majority of the group up into 2. So it's 100 people are on land for the first hour and a half. And then while the first 100 or the first group is on land, the other 100 passengers are in those Zodiacs doing what we call Zodiac cruising. So you're going to be with your expedition leader driving around in that Zodiac, scouting for marine life. So you're going to be seeing lots and lots of penguins. I guarantee you that. You spot some whales, some seals. I know on my voyage, one day we were doing the Zodiac cruise, cruising around, and then we just happened to slow down, and then there was a whale sleeping right in front of us. Yeah, super, super cool. You'll see seals lounging around as well. The most anticipated, or everyone wants to see, that the leopard seal, and we got to see that as well. It was actually eating a penguin, which some people like are keen on seeing, because they kind of do a thing where they play with their food. But I know a lot of people like to see that, but the leopard seal is a keen one that people like to see. And yeah, so then once that hour and a half is up, then essentially the group of 100 switches, and then the 100 that were cruising around in Zodiacs will then go on land and explore on land, and the group that was on land will hop on the Zodiacs and do an hour and a half of Zodiac cruising. So everyone is going to get to do the same thing. You'll both get to do the Zodiac cruising and the land in the 3-hour span of your landings. And then kind of to touch on what you do on land, it's really up to you. You can walk around on your own. You can take a little hike if there's a little bit of a mountain. I know in one spot we hiked up a little hill, and they actually made like a small tobogganing slide, or like we just slid down the hill like you were going tobogganing. Very, very cool. Highly recommend if it gets offered on your voyage. But it's really up to you. Sometimes I just sat, and there was hundreds of penguins you'll always see, and I'm just taking photos and enjoying the wildlife around me. So it's really at your leisure. They're not going to really tell you what to do. Antarctica's there for you to explore. And of course, I can't talk about marine life and not have some pictures on here to get you guys excited about what you might see. So the Chentu penguins are a guarantee. You'll see them everywhere. Chinstrap penguins as well. And then of course, there's your seal pup and the humpback whale. If you're lucky, you might get to see a few. So for those who have already booked, what is still needed before departure? To be honest, it's not much. All that's left is really to fill out your polar forms. Not to worry, you haven't got them sent to you yet. We will be sending them to everyone who's booked within the next few weeks. You'll get an email from us outlining that you have a unique polar forms link, and that can be shown right there. And that's unique. That's a unique specific to the passenger only. So it'll have different sections that you would need to fill out. So like the cruise booking conditions you're going to have to read and sign, the enrollment form, medical information. We'll collect your arrival and departure information as well for your transfers, your insurance information. And then if you're doing any of our optionals, you will be required to sign the optional excursion waivers as well. And then we have a small section at the end that talks about COVID requirements, our COVID declaration. And then I'll speak on this at the end, but you will be required to upload your proof of vaccination as well. So this will all be done online. If you guys run into any issues, feel free to contact the Marine team, but it should be pretty simple and straightforward. Within that email as well, we do talk about anything else that might be required. We do outline kind of like our COVID requirements in there as well, so that you can have it handy in your email. But yes, that will be sent out to you guys within the next few weeks for you guys to fill out, and that will be the end of it. That'll be the last things we need from you guys before you guys depart. So COVID-19 requirements. I know some of you guys might have questions about this, so I really wanted to add this into our chat today. So we do require all passengers, guests, staff, and crew to be fully vaccinated pre-embarkation. And like I mentioned, you will be required to upload your proof of vaccination, and that would be through that Polar Forms link. So the minimum requirements is for the vaccination is a completion of the primary vaccination series, so the 2 doses. But we do strongly recommend that you do complete both the primary and the additional booster dose, just to really ensure that you join the voyage and expedition with the highest level of protection, and to minimize and reduce any issues that might happen on board, of course. Further to that, you will be required to produce a negative COVID-19 test result within a specified time prior to embarkation. This will probably be completed on day one with the expedition team. We're just waiting to finalize the details on that. And once we do, we will pass that on to you. But just to be aware that you will be required to take a COVID test prior to embarking this ship. And just I wanted to add in as well that COVID testing will be as required on board the ship. Since we're doing the full vaccination and COVID testing prior to embarkation, you guys will not have to wear masks on board. So we're kind of adding in these steps like the negative, like the testing prior to embarking, just so you can have more freedom while on board the ship, free of masks, that kind of thing. Of course, if you wish, you are still able to and can wear a mask on board as well, or throughout the voyage. That's perfectly fine and up to you. And then if for some reason something does happen on board, knock on wood, you would be quarantining on board the vessel if testing positive or presenting symptoms as well. The good thing is that we do have, we will have tests obviously on the ship, and there is a doctor on the ship at all times on board as well. They do have a doctor's office. So even non-COVID related issues, if you happen to get a little sick, whether it's seasickness or something else, there is a doctor on board at all times that is able to prescribe things to you and able to help you out throughout the voyage. So what to pack? Almost 6-7 months out. I think it's 210 days to departure. I know you guys are anxious.
Who's counting, right, Jonathan?
Who's counting, right? I know some might be last minute packers, or maybe like me, I like to start packing in advance. Usually like a couple of weeks before, I'll have like everything laid out on the floor, and then I'll just stuff it into my luggage the night or two before. But really what is needed, or what do you need to bring with you to Antarctica? So the good thing is that you don't have to lug a parka and boots from home. So like I mentioned, that is included in the trip price. It will be provided to you on board the ship, so you don't have to lug that parka or boots with you. But what you do want to think about when packing is layers, layers, layers. And I can't stress that enough, because when you're in Antarctica, it might be cold in the mornings, but it might be clear skies and sunny, and you're out walking about for your landings, and it can get a little, I shouldn't say hot, but it'll get a little warm. You'll feel a little warm outside. So you might have to take off a layer or two. So that's why I suggest layers. So you're gonna want to start off with like a cotton like shirt, like a t-shirt, or maybe a long sleeve, something that's a little bit more breathable. Then you want to have maybe like your like a zip up sweater or pullover sweater, and then you kind of have your inner layer jacket and then your parka. So you definitely want to have like a t-shirt or a long shirt to put underneath, and then a sweater on top. So you want to have a few of those. For pants, I suggest like leggings or long johns as your base layer. Then you kind of have your pants that go on top. It could be, sometimes I wore like sweatpants. We don't really suggest jeans because it can get a little bit uncomfortable. So more comfortable pants, whether it's like exercise pants or jogging pants. And then something that you do need to bring with you is waterproof pants. So that is required on board the ship. And that is because some of our landings, you might be setting foot in some water, probably only ankle highs. Like that's what happened on my voyage, only about ankle deep. So not too deep or anything, but just in case, always you need to have the waterproof pants. So that is a requirement. So you do need to bring that with you and have that packed with you in order to do the Zodiacs and the landings. And then for socks, I always get cold feet. So I always did double layer of socks always. So I brought an extra amount of socks. So I might suggest that for you guys as well. I always did a double layer of socks. So you want to bring plenty of those. And then for gloves, I always suggest 2 layers for that as well. So you want to have like your cotton gloves at the bottom, and then kind of like your mittens on top that I would suggest to be waterproof, again, because you're going to be dealing with snow and things like that. So I would suggest it to be waterproof as well. Something that's easy to take off, because you're going to be taking pictures a lot. So something that's easy to take off as well, so you have access to all 5 fingers and you can click quite quickly. You're going to want to bring a hat or a toque, as we call it in Canada, something that's going to cover your ears. And I would suggest, if you can, to maybe get something that's going to cover your face as well. So whether it's like kind of like those hats that are kind of like with the built-in face shield, or you can use your scarf as well, more so in the mornings than anything. And then when you're kind of doing your Zodiac cruising, because it can get a little bit windy, a little bit breezy. But definitely by the afternoon, you're gonna want to take it off if it's really, really sunny out. And then sunglasses, something you might not expect to bring with you to Antarctica, something I didn't expect when I went on my voyage to bring with me, but it gets really sunny. And with this snow being so white and pristine, the sun reflects off of that snow really well. So it does get really, really bright. So I really suggest sunglasses. I believe there's like specialized like UV, they're called like UV sunglasses. That would be your best bet. But if you don't have those or don't want to purchase those, regular sunglasses should do just fine as well. And then of course, you're going to want to bring a camera with you. Some people use their phone, which is perfectly fine. I was a little bit extra, and I bought one of those long lenses for my DSLR camera because I wanted to get pictures that were up and close. So don't forget to pack your camera with you. And this is just what the expedition gear that we're going to provide you with is going to look like. So we have on the left-hand side the inner layer jacket. So again, that's going to be a little memento from your voyage for you all to keep, to remember Antarctica. And then again, your outer parka is going to be on loan, so you will return that at the end of your voyage. And then your muck boots are on loan as well. So again, big items that you don't have to lug with you to save more space for those extra socks or those long johns, whatever it may be. And then really the big question for some of you is, how do you book after all this that I talked about in Antarctica, all the pictures, all the wildlife? For some of you, is how do you book? So very easy. We have our dedicated marine team at Intrepid Travel. You can call us, email us, live chat us. Just let us know that you're with the Wanderful community, and we'll take really good care of you. And I have the Wanderful landing page for our trip as well there, the link. And the deposit is just a non-refundable deposit of 20% of the cabin price to secure your spots. And then the final balance isn't due until 95 days to departure. So I know we're getting closer, about 210 days out, but still a little bit of time for you to just put your deposit down and then pay that final balance at the 95 days. And then of course you can pay in installments of any increments up until that 95-day mark. So what's still available for the 2023 departure, Jan 11th? We do have a limited availability for any solo travelers. We have the Cat 1 single interior cabin still available. We have the Cat 4 twin portholes. If you're looking for a nice picturesque window, we have the Cat 5 twin windows still available. And then some are more premium cabins, like our Comfort Twin, Premium Twin, and Superior Double. We still have capacity for as well. So any of you who are still looking to book, please reach out to myself. You can ask for myself, Jonathan, or our marine team will take really good care of you. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
So many questions. Thank you, Jonathan. I mean, you've answered a lot of them. And even I, honestly, before this, I know we did a webinar however many years ago, a year or two ago, to go through this, but there's new stuff. And so I appreciate kind of going through this again, seeing what's updated, you know, getting a little bit more detail. And just so that you all know too, and I know we've got some questions coming in, I just dropped the link, the direct booking link. We also have a link on the Wanderful website called, I just want to make sure I spell it right, Antarctica, she'swanderful.com/Antarctica. And that has, we'll have this recording of the webinar there. And it also includes some of the information about how this is going to be a very special, Wanderful edition too. So as Jonathan mentioned, it's a ship for 200, but we have, I think, almost 40 people RSVP'd for Wanderful. So we'll have a sizable Wanderful group there. And I'm pretty sure that everybody else is going to either want to be a Wanderful member or like sign up as soon as they see us all. And so we're also going to plan some fun activities. We're giving a year of membership to everybody who's coming on, and there's a subgroup in our member portal where we can all connect with each other and ask questions. And then I have a bunch of ideas that I'm also going to bring up a little bit towards the end of this that I think would be nice for us, including some onboard activities that we can plan together. We have Intrepid's approval to do that. We can also talk about ways that we can stay connected before and after the trip. If people are planning on coming in early and want to set up, you know, we can get like a Google spreadsheet going so that you know who's coming in early and you can meet up with them ahead of time. We could do a dinner as a group the night before we board. So there's some nice fun things that we can do as well, so that even if you're traveling alone, you won't be, because you'll be with, you know, a whole bunch of other wonderful women who will be excited to take care of you. I think the first question that had come in was from Pam, who was asking about the photography group and kind of how that would work on board. Can you talk about that, Jonathan?
Yeah, so we have an optional excursion that's called the photography program that you are able to join. So that is really, again, really unique to Intrepid. It's not really offered anywhere else. And essentially, you'll get firsthand experience knowledge with the professional photographer. You'll be in lectures just with your photography group. They'll talk about aperture and how to take better photos, how to edit them better. You'll also, for the Zodiac portion of the landings as well, you'll go together with your photography group and you'll actually get to board on very special Zodiacs, and they're called front-facing Zodiacs. And what these Zodiacs enable you to do is they're front-facing, so you're able to have better opportunities to take photos. So you're actually able to move around and take photos without having other group members or other passengers in the way. So it's a really unique activity. You get a lot of one-on-one time, again, with the professional photographer to make the most of the photos you're taking. Oh, Beth, you're just on mute.
I'm trying to be so good and quiet. Thank you, Jonathan. I was just going to say, I'm looking at the chat too, and Romy, I see that your hand is raised, so I'm going to call on you after this. But I noticed that Sana also had some questions that were literally just the things that I was just saying very briefly about. You know, number one is how many people are signed up. And Jonathan, you were saying it's at about 60 to 70% occupancy, the ship itself right now. So there's still a bit of space.
Correct.
And then for our Wanderful group, we have, I think we're almost at 40 now, like 35, 40 that are signed up. And in terms of how this collaboration is unique, so there's, you know, I think when we decided to do this group together, one of the things that made this really special for us is that you had an automatic group of people to go with, that there were, we will have time to be together. Of course, you'll be able to meet everybody else and connect with everyone else on the ship too, but we'll make it so that you're really not traveling alone. And that includes, having some things that we'll do on board the ship together, coordinating some meetups and activities together on board, and then organizing some things before and after. And then, of course, as I mentioned, everyone will get access into our membership community too, so that we can continue to talk with each other before and after. So you're really getting additional access to our whole network and a group of people that you can prep your travel with, and then you can actually go on with, and we'll facilitate some of those things. And then we're also looking at some fun swag. I'm not going to lie. We've been thinking of putting together a nice little gift bag for everybody with some nice stuff that you can have on the ship. So you'll definitely feel like a VIP while you're there. And then the other question that came in there just after that was how much the additional excursions are. Jonathan, can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the, so right now for the Jan 11th voyage, the one that you guys are on, there's limited excursions left. So I think there's only 2 camping spots left, which is a one-time excursion, and you're looking at about $399 US, if I'm not mistaken. And then the photography program also has space available, and that's about 1,299 USD, I believe. So we do offer kayaking as well. Unfortunately, it is sold out, and the camping as well. But I always tell all my Antarctic voyage customers that don't fret, because you do have some passengers when on board that get cold feet or opt out when on board. So there might be some last minute openings for those excursions that are currently sold out when you get on board. So if you're really looking to do like the kayaking or camping that's currently sold out, keep a listen out, or let your expedition leader know on day 1 or day 2 when you're on board the vessel. And if there's any cancellations, you might be able to snag a spot.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. Romy, did you want to ask your question out loud?
Well, I actually wanted to give you a couple of things. I called Intrepid yesterday, and I had a very good conversation. But the one thing was about the flights to Ushuaia. She said it was really kind of tricky, and that to go through a travel agent or something. But it's kind of early now. They're not showing anything available. There's nothing even showing up for January. So I'm a little bit wondering about how that is to be done. But also when I'm on the insurance, I think that when you send out the original confirmation about the insurance to use Allianz, I would highly recommend to get on, call them, and then there's a special agent code. That agent code is really important, because the amount of money that you can save on the insurance is amazing. I was very surprised that they offered it at a reasonable price in 2 different levels. So that is something that you should really, really consider going through Allianz through you guys, because it was great.
Yeah, thanks, Romy. Yeah, Allianz is one of our partners that we suggest for travel insurance. If you're shopping around, another suggestion I can make is World Nomads as well. It's always good to take a look to see which one might be better, but Allianz is really a prime travel insurance company. Regarding flights, so typically with airlines, they put out their flights about 11 months in advance. So there should be flights heading out to Argentina, but you might just run into problems usually if you're looking online and you're trying to do direct from your home country to Ushuaia directly. That's where you usually run into problems, and you might not have a lot of hits, or there might not be a lot of suggestions. So just speaking from experience, what typically you would do is you would book your flights in and out of Buenos Aires. And then you would have to book a separate flight from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia and back. And I think that's maybe why we suggested maybe visiting your local travel agent, because they might be able to package those two flights together just to make it a bit easier instead of you, the passenger, maybe having to kind of coordinate the flight times. For the flight from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, I would suggest checking out Argentina's airline, which is Aerolíneas Argentinas. They have the most flights in and out of Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. That they have a ton daily. So that would probably be your best bet getting to Ushuaia back to Argentina.
Can you spell that name of the airline or put it in chat, please?
Yeah, sure. I can. I don't know if I have access to the chat. Do I?
You should.
Let me see here. I'm going to. I mean, it is in Spanish, so I'm going to Google it quickly. I think I know how to spell it, but just in case.
Okay, and I can send that information. Sorry, I have a screaming baby in the back, but
I just
trying to get her. Yeah, Zoe's crying. But I can also send all that as a follow-up. And Romy, you're right. I just happened to like go on Kayak and be like, oh, Boston to Ushuaia, how does that work? So Jonathan, that's good advice to look at Buenos Aires and then from there. Yeah, we can follow up with some more information with some recommendations on that. And I will also look into who we have. I know we've been exploring a couple of travel insurance partnerships too. So in case there is anyone else that's looking for an insurance arrangement right now, I can see if there's any deals that we can snag for you as well. There's quite a few questions that are coming in the chat. So this is great. Ariel wants to know if there's laundry on board.
There is, yeah. So laundry is on board as well. Of course, there is a small charge for it, but yes, it can be done on board.
Okay, and I'm going to keep rolling through these as I see them. Is it possible to come a day early and extend our stay at the hotel? Who do I contact about that? And I know there's a question following that that's asking about the name of the hotel. Do most people have to leave right to the airport after they disembark or stay another night? Can you talk a little bit about how the hotel works?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking to come in a day early, 100% we can arrange that for you at the same hotel that you would be meeting at for your joining point. Just one thing to be mindful of is that the arrival transfer that's included in the trip price is only included if you're arriving on day one. But with that being said, if you want to arrive a day early, Ushuaia is very small, so it's not like the taxi is going to cost much. From the airport to Ushuaia center, it's about maximum 10-minute drive. Not even. I want to say it's about 5 minutes. So you're not going to be spending a lot if you want to arrive early and take that transfer or take the taxi. I'm sorry. Down to Ushuaia yourself to the hotel. For the hotels, since it is a large group, we have two main hotels. We have Hotel del Glacier and Hotel Les Hayes. Right now, just because we're still waiting on final numbers for how many passengers are booking, we're still finalizing where we're placing everyone. For Wanderful, we are trying to get everyone into the same hotel so that you guys are all together. So that's our main goal at this point. So once we kind of finalize cabins and finalize how many people, if we need to do some shuffling around, we will let you know the hotel name, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. I would say at least 60 days to departure, we'll have that to you, if not sooner.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. And I'll keep in touch with you too, because depending on the hotel we pick, we could plan maybe a little gathering, happy hour dinner the night before we depart, since we'll all be together in the same hotel. That might be a nice way before we kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know someone asked about the departure as well. So for the departure, the transfer that's included is going to take you to the airport right when you depart, pretty much. So if you are looking to spend an extra night post-voyage in Ushuaia, again, we can arrange that for you at the same hotel. But again, then you'd need to make your own way back to the airport if you're staying a couple nights extra.
Great. Are the onshore landings optional? I'm not much of a hiker, more of a lounge on a boat kind of person.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say if you even wanted to do like just the Zodiac cruising, but you didn't want to go on land to do some of the hiking. I mean, when I say hiking, it's more like walking. It's not too rigorous. You're just walking a few feet on land, but absolutely, it is optional. You can choose to stay on board. You can only choose to do half of the full landing. And if after the Zodiac cruising, if you want to go back to the boat, you can let the expedition leader know, and they will transport you back to hop back on board. That's not a problem.
Great. And Pam wants to know about the agent code that Romy brought up. Is there a special agent code that Intrepid has that you're using for the Allianz bookings?
It is. I don't have it
Okay.
offhand or memorized, but I can send that to you so you can share
Yeah.
it with the group.
We'll follow up with that so that you have
Yeah.
that, Pam. Mm-hmm.
I do have it if you want it. If for you residents of the United States, the agent code is F as in Frank 206977. And if you're in Canada, it's 9442.
Yeah. Thanks, Romy.
Yeah.
You want a job at Intrepid?
I know. Romy, can you plan my trip for me too when you're done? That's awesome. I'm going to drop that in the chat. That's straight from Romy, and I'll make sure we follow up too, so that you have that in an email. Let's see. There's a couple more questions. Will passengers need to have a medical clearance prior to boarding? I ask because on my trip to Antarctica a couple of years ago, the trip was shortened because an older passenger had a cardiac incident while attempting to board a Zodiac, and the captain had to take us back to the Shetland Islands in order for the Chilean army to medevac him. Wow. I appreciate that you can't control for all contingencies, but ensuring passengers are medically cleared to undertake a journey like this is a good start.
Yeah, great question. So if you remember, I was speaking about that polar forms link before. So there is a medical section that will ask you to, kind of like a medical clearance, where we'll ask you some medical information, or if you're on certain medications, that kind of thing. And then a doctor does actually look at all that information. And then if there's anything that kind of stands out, they will get back to us, whether to ask for more information or to get medical clearance from the passenger's doctor, that kind of thing.
Awesome. And then I see one last question in here, but keep going if you all want. We do have 4 minutes left. How do we choose our coat sizes ahead of time?
Yeah, another great question. So that all happens again in that polar forms link. There's an expedition gear section. It's really great. It has a picture of both the boots and the jackets, as well as all the sizes outlined in like US sizing, UK sizing, and then you can put in your sizing there. And that's how we will know what size to give you when you get on board. On day 2, when you're at sea, they will also do like a gear check. So you will head down to the mud rooms, try your boots on, try your jackets on, make sure everything fits. And if there's any sizing issues, then they will just sort it out on board and they'll get the right size for you.
And if you have concerns in advance, can you send like are there measurements that get really specific on the form? I know sometimes I shop at a store and like one size at one store is different from another size at another store. So is there a way, or is it like reach out to you individually?
Yeah, it does have kind of like the US, UK measurements on.
Okay, it has measurements.
Yeah, it has measurements as well. But if you have any concerns or any questions on sizing, yeah, just feel free to reach out and we can help you out as much as possible.
Great. Very exciting. Any other questions? These are really good questions, everybody. So let me tell you what I have in mind in terms of what we should all be doing as Wanderful community members. I want us all getting into the Antarctica group that we have in our member portal. So again, I'll follow up with that link so that any of you who don't have membership can sign up for free so that you get access to the group so that you can be part of that. And if you already are a member, then you can like use the 1 year free if you want, but don't tell anybody I told you that. And I say we do a meet and mingle, maybe the first night. We can do dinner before we actually get on board. I'll talk with Intrepid about some activities that we can do on board the ship. They've already cleared for us to do a few things together and maybe use some of their private spaces for that. So that'll be fun. We'll have a little gift bag waiting for you. So if there's any special treats that you're hoping for, wishing for, let me know. But if there's anything else too that we can do to make this easier, whether it's, you know, having a place where people might want to share travel plans, they can coordinate. I don't know if people are thinking of doing travel before or after the trip, or if they're just going straight from home, but however we can accommodate so that you can all stay in touch with each other, we definitely love to be able to help with that. Great. Pam said, Pam, I'm going to call you out because you put she sent me a direct message that said Milk Boy chocolate in the goodie bags. Yes, chocolate is a good idea always for goodie bags, unless you can't have chocolate, in which case we'll give you something else, but good ideas across the board.
And lip balm. You need
lip balm. Yeah, I think a care package is going to be high in order. I don't know if any of you were Romy, were you at Wanderfest? I don't remember who was at Wanderfest. Oh yeah. We had sunglasses at Wanderfest. So Jonathan, when you said sunglasses, we had some really cool teal, wonderful sunglasses. We might have to bring those out again. We'll take like a nice shot with the photographer.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great, everybody. Well, if there's not any other questions, then I'm going to let you all go. I hope that this has given you some exciting motivation, some inspiration, all the information that you need. If there's anything else that you want to know, of course, you can always rely on me for Wanderful related information, or Jonathan can help as well. Jonathan, can we share your information on booking?
Yeah, of course.
Or should people send you, just go to the Intrepid link? What's better?
I would do our marine team, so voyages at intrepidtravel.com, just in case I'm out of office or something, at least that it's not sitting in my personal inbox, and any of our marine team can help. But yes, that's our marine inbox, and we'll get back to you we aim for 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, we'll get back to you.
Okay, so voyages at intrepidtravel.com, that's where you can reach the marine team. Of course, you can reach me anytime. So if you're wanting to copy me on something, I'm just Beth at sheswanderful.com, and I can always help navigate as well. And then, we have our easy link, which is sheswanderful.com/Antarctica. And that also, there's a link from that directly to the Intrepid booking link. So you'll see everything that you need there. Hopefully everyone who is booked has gotten an email from me in the last, what was it, like a week or two ago that I sent it. If you didn't get an email, let me know. But if you're here, then I assume you probably did. Jen, I know we're going to solve your issue to make sure that you're getting everything, because I want to make sure that everybody's in good contact with each other. And I just have to say, I'm so looking forward to this. I can't wait. I think this is going to be a really amazing and memorable trip. And I cannot think of a better group of people to go with, honestly. So let's stay in touch. If you need anything in the meantime, you know where to find us. Jonathan, thanks for joining us at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
No, of course. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, thanks, everyone. Go out and enjoy. Diane, go to bed, get a good night's sleep, and we'll see you all soon, okay? Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.